Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a much requested video, and that is my win predictions for every NFL team for the upcoming season. You guys are nuts, man. I've gotten like tweets and comments and emails of people being like, dude, you always do this in the first week of May. Why didn't you do it this year? Well, the logical reason would be because I'm posting less, so the content is getting spaced out, but today we're gonna get it done. Couple of plugs before we hop into the video. Don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all I've got. Let's get into predicting every team's win total for 2024-2025. That's crazy that we're saying that, isn't it? Holy cow, man. It's gonna be 2030 before we know it. Ugh. Okay, let's start the video. Alright guys, so here we are at today's list, which is pretty self-explanatory, and if you are wondering, wouldn't it make more sense to do this after the full schedule reveal, which is ironically tonight? Yes, that would make a lot of sense, but I think typically we always revisit this like 2 or 3 days before the season starts anyway, so if I need to make any adjustments, well, I'll do that in 4 months. But as of today, we are starting with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I got them at 12 wins. Now, they did have a pretty big loss this offseason with Snead, and the drama surrounding Rashee Rice is no help, but what is a big help to them is that their division is absolute cans right now, and that is 6 free wins right there. They find a way to be great every year. This year, I don't see any reason to worry. Up next, we got the Jets. I got them at 10. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be pretty solid. Look, Rodgers doesn't even need to be elite for this team to be really good. He just needs to be serviceable, which he will be much better than that because it's Aaron fucking Rodgers. Definitely have a tougher division than Kansas City, and like any other team, you can expect them to slip once or twice to a team that they probably should beat at some point during the season. Now moving on, we got Cleveland, 9. I think your offense is going to struggle this year. And no, your offense isn't bad. You got Amari Cooper, who is an excellent receiver. You got Njoku, who I classify as a top 5 tight end. You have Nick Chubb, who I love more than life itself, but let's face the facts. Chubb is coming off of a horrendous injury, and you guys are getting Deshaun Watson back, who really has yet to prove he is worth a cent that you paid him. Said it before and I'll say it again. I think that guy is in mental torture. I do not think Deshaun Watson will ever come back to his old form at this point. Every time he steps out there, he is thinking about how much people hate him. It is in his head. You can fucking tell. Honestly, I don't feel bad saying this. I don't feel bad for him because you don't end up in that situation unless you're doing something a little fucking weird. Now moving on, we got Tampa Bay, 9. I don't see them doing worse than they did last year. I think their offense is actually going to play better just due to having more chemistry. However, their division will be tougher. There is no question about it. Matter of fact, I think it's pretty realistic to assume that every team in that division might trade with them or 2-0 them if you're Atlanta. Now moving on, we got the Steelers, 10. I don't see them doing any worse. I just don't see them really doing any better. Now, they did get functional quarterbacks, but their receiving core, I think, did take a considerable hit. And again, their division is nothing short of a slap contest, which means 6 weeks of the year, you're going to be in an all-out brawl. Now we've got Houston, 11. They're going to be a really, really good team with an explosive offense, but again, kind of like Tampa Bay, their division is going to be a fist fight every single meeting. That's how I see it. I don't think there is a team in that division who potentially could not be a monster this year. As of this moment, though, I think Stroud is my passing leader on the year. Now we got the Dolphins, 9 wins. I think they take a slip and McDaniel ends up on the hot seat. I don't think he's a genius. I think he's an average coach who likes to pick on bad teams. Statistically, this team has always struggled to beat teams above 500 when under McDaniel. Like, that's no secret. Also, they've got Tua, who is a very, very talented quarterback, but you put him in a situation where it's cold outside, or you put him in a situation where he's got pressure on him, he's gonna shit the bed. Also, it doesn't help that we look at Buffalo and see that you guys have 2 guaranteed losses right there. Now we've got the Broncos, 5. I don't think they're going to be very good at all. I think it's just going to be a big experiment over there figuring out who does and who doesn't work out in that system. That'll bring us to the Titans, 8. I think it's going to be very, very competitive in the AFC South, and this team, like I said, it's riding on one man right now, and that is William Levis VIII. If he's good, which I think he's gonna be, that team is going to be elite. And if he's bad, I guess they convert Will Levis to a tight end, make Mason Rudolph the starter, and ride out the rest of the season. Now moving moving on, we got the Raiders, and I'm shocked I'm saying this, but I was thinking about this the other day. I think they win 9 games. They're gonna beat on the Broncos. They're gonna be able to beat on the Chargers a little bit. They could shock Kansas City. They've been known to do that before. But the thing I really like about this team, the underrated move, is the Minshew move. Like, he's kind of a dog, man. You got some explosive receivers. You got a lot of pop in your defense. I'm not necessarily excited about this team, like I said, I think last week, but they could put up a decent year. Now we got Dallas, 11. They're still a good team, no doubt about it. They've got Dak and CD Lamb who are going to light it up. Running back's a little bit of a question there, but defensively, if everybody's healthy, they're going to be dangerous. I still think they're a top 5 team in the NFC. All right, now moving on, we got the Falcons. 10 wins, and there's absolutely no excuse as to why they can't do that at this point. You got a great defense with a great defensive head coach now, and an offense with a quarterback who can throw a rock. I look at you guys, and I see clear-cut the best team in the NFC South. Now moving on, we got Baltimore. I think they'll get 12, actually. I think the addition of Derrick Henry is going to make that offense extremely deadly, because even in the games where he does get shut down, that is going to take a lot of people and a lot of attention, meaning it's going to open up a receiver or a tight end for Lamar, or potentially a pocket for Lamar himself to run, and I think that they're just going to strike twice as heavy. I won't play Baltimore down this offseason. Now moving on, we got the Chargers, 7. If this team was still run by Brandon Staley, I would predict about 3 wins. Look, I'm buying into the Harbaugh hype a little bit. I don't think this team is going to be good, but if he is this national championship game-changing leader that they strive to have, he should be able to build a little bit of something out of nothing. Now we got the Rams. I think that's a 10-win team. They should beat on Seattle and the Cardinals pretty well. I expect them to honestly beat San Francisco once. That offense is gonna be an explosion, man. It's gonna take an absolute wall to lock it down. Now we got the Giants, 3 wins. They just don't have an offense. They don't have a quarterback who is gonna consistently get the ball to receivers, who is going to be consistently reliable. I think their defense is a good defense, but they're gonna be exhausted being on the field constantly because their offense is just gonna be going 3 and out. And now we got Jacksonville, 8. Very unsure what to think about them at the moment. I think that there's a lot of potential in that team. Trevor, we need to see kind of a bounce back this year from, but Brian Thomas, you know, it's going to be really interesting to watch him play, but I'm not confident that they're going to be an absolute elite squad, and they're going to be in a division that, like I said, is going to be a constant fist fight. Now we've got the Colts, and I actually got them at 9. I'm more confident in them than I am in Jacksonville or the Titans, because this is essentially the same team who is now going to have a healthy Anthony Richardson, who I think has potential to be one of the deadliest dual threat quarterbacks we're ever going to watch. What happens if AR doesn't work out? Well, they have Flacco. We know he can still play. This team's got a really smart head coach. He'll keep them in check. I think the Colts are in line for a decent year. Now we got the Bengals. I actually got them at 11. Healthy Joe Burrow, that offense is a top 5 offense in football, although every year he does have like a horrible first 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know why. Probably because he misses preseason all the time, but he's going to be elite. They drafted that offensive lineman in the first round. They got several defensive tackles who I think are going to provide run stop and pressure. I think the team as a whole is going to play a lot better. Just got to hope everyone can stay healthy. All right, moving on, we got Seattle, and I'm sorry, but 7 wins. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I put too many teams in the top 3 rows, then everyone will comment that it's an impossible, unrealistic list. And the truth behold, looking at the Seahawks compared to the rest of the NFC, even though the team had a great draft, I just don't think the team is that good anymore because other teams have gotten substantially better. That's just the NFC, by the way, that I'm doing comparisons to. And also, Geno's regression last year, that doesn't do any convincing for me as well, because I'm not led to believe he's just going to magically turn that around. Now we've got the Vikings. 7. Gotta be real there, as much as that sucks, and I could be way off, and I could be way overshooting it. They have a rookie quarterback. Much as people want to hop on that high horse, ask yourself, how often are rookie quarterbacks actually elite right out the gate? Ask yourself how often rookie quarterbacks actually work out and get a job after all. We don't know. And the quarterback position, especially on a team with receivers like that, is everything. It's a big question mark. Now we've got the Bills, 11. They're going to win the division and everybody is going to shut the hell up. Still got one of the most disruptive D-lines in the league. Still have one of the best linebackers in the league. Still have one of the best slot corners in the league. We still have Josh fucking Allen. You're worried about our offense without Diggs? The last half of the year when we went on a tear, he was basically non-existent. I can't wait for the season to start. Now we got the Cardinals. I got them at 6. They'll do a little bit better than what they did last year, but just not a ton better. And that's just the truth. I mean, their team got better, but they're still like low-key ass. Now we got Philly, 12. Like, they're just on paper, there's no reason that team should not be an indestructible force, as much as I hate to talk about it. Anyway, next team, New England. 3, I think they tie the Giants for the worst record in the league. It's a new coach. It's a new era. They don't have a lot of spark there, and they're in a division where they're just going to get their faces punched in. Now we got Washington, 6 wins. Their fan base is trying to talk them up like they built the 2007 New England Patriots. Dude, their offense is going to be so unfamiliar with each other. It'll be just like the Panthers last year with the new quarterback. It's going to take them a couple weeks to get the chemistry going. Plus, they got a brand new head coach. I just don't see the chains really moving there till about week 8 or 9, if they do. Now we've got Detroit, 12. They're going to win the division. They're still going to be really, really good. Be honest, I think they got a lot better this offseason, and anybody thinking that their window is actually closed, you are a fool. All right, moving on, we got Green Bay, but I just want to acknowledge this right now. I noticed that there's already 12 teams in the 10 or more column here. That's what there was last year. Total was only 12, and there's at least 2 more that I want to put up there. So if I have to make this super realistic and, you know, it's got to fit right, as it should, I'm going to be honest, I would probably move the Jets and the Steelers down into the 8 to 9 win column, but, you know, I'm going to leave it as they are. Either way, Green Bay, I got them at 10 wins. I think they're a great team. I think they've got some great energy over there. They're playing in a pretty favorable division, and they've probably got one of the most solid offenses in the entire league. Like, I don't think there is an actual weak spot there. Maybe tight end, but I think they can be good. Now we got San Francisco. I mean, you got to put them in 12. They're the regular season warriors. They're going to beat the shit out of everybody during the regular season, and then they'll get to the postseason and choke. I've said this line every single year, and I have never been wrong. Now we got the Panthers, 7. I can see them being, you know, a little sneaky electric this year. I don't think they're going to make a playoff push or anything like that, but I am expecting to see definite improvements, and I do think Bryce is going to have a much better year, which as a whole will make that offense a lot better. Now we got Chicago. I got them at 8. Look, we know their defense last year was great. We know their offense should be great on paper, but again, it's a mystery. We don't know how Dunze is going to look. We don't know how Caleb Williams is going to look. They also got the Packers and the Lions to worry about twice. I'm expecting to see improvements. I'm just not sure how much. Now moving on, we got the Saints. I got them at 5 wins. Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are going to get the boot both in week 10. Their offense did not get much better. Alvin Kamara is not getting any younger, and they have Clint Kubiak, who's supposed to come in and change the game. He was in Minnesota. He's fucking dog shit. This team is going to get a much needed turnaround, but it's not going to happen until over halfway through this season. Anyway, that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for me predicting wins for every team, even though I know statistically this is probably unrealistic, and I apologize. However, if you guys did like this video, you already know what to do to show support. I appreciate any and all help, but in the meantime, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you all have a great Wednesday. Friday, we should be doing part 2 of the drawings, and as always, I will see you in the next upload.